Hello everyone, welcome to Education Diary, day number 1 for the cloud platform. I think so my voice is fine right now. Let me know if my voice is not fine. But I do believe that my voice is going to be fine, right? So today actually we are going to be moving forward with the cloud platform, right? So what is actually a cloud platform? Now, if you're having something like which is known as the virtualization software or an operating system like Linux or Windows or any kind of virtualization operating system, for this particular operating system, you may need a software on which you are going to be using your operating system, right? So as usual, we have worked on the VMware, and on VMware, I installed the Linux. So you can see that basically I need a software which should run on my local computer. And in that software, I again need to download the Linux file, and then it's going to be working. All right. But in actually cloud platform is something in which you are just going to be using some cloud services like Amazon, AWS, which is widely used for hosting up your website. And of course, we are having tons and tons of functionalities in cloud platform. Uh, it's really great to at least have some knowledge about the cloud platform. What is it, and how can we actually use it? All right. So suppose this is going to be Amazon AWS. Just search this on Google, and you can go on to the first link. Now you have to make sure to select your free tier, right? Because free tier is something in which you are going to be having some 750 hours uh, to work on the virtualization, right? So what I can do is I can simply go into the sign into the console. Now, of course, I am having an ID, but you need an ID. So here you can see I am already having an ID, right? So you need to sign up. Once actually you sign up, this is going to be your console home. Now, recently visited is something you can ignore because it is going to be totally empty. I have worked on the cloud platform, so that is something which is recently services which I used. It's not very difficult. Now, once actually you sign up, you may need to link your MasterCard or Visa card. It's not going to be taking any transaction because you are using free tier, but you may need to link your Visa or MasterCard, and they are going to be sending you almost 50 or 60 rupees Indian currency to your card, so that they can make sure that yes, this card is actually working and actually real. All right. So this is something which you need to understand. I am already having a card which is being linked with my Amazon AWS account. So what I can do is I can simply go to the services menu, and here you are going to be having lots and lots of services for the robotics, for the quantum technologies, networking, management, media services, developer tools, database, compute, and so many other things. But you just need to start from the very basic, right? So let's go with the EC2. So what I can do is I can simply go in the search bar and I can simply write EC2. So here actually you can see that I'm having EC2, which is virtual server in the cloud. If I click on the EC2, so now it is going to be redirecting me to the EC2 instance, right? So this is going to be your EC2 dashboard. You are having some instances type, launch template, spot request, and so many options, right? Now, what is an EC2? So that is something which is important. So EC2 basically helps you to, we can say, create a virtual operating system on the cloud platform without installing it on your local computer. So first advantage is it is going to be saving up your memory, right? Because you are not installing it on your local system, so it will be saving the memory. The second thing is once your task is completed, you can simply turn the instance off, and that's it. If you want, you can delete, but if you simply turn your instance off, so all the things which you have done into that particular operating system, it will be deleted or it will be vanished. And once again, if you are going to be turning your instance on, so you are again going to be reloading or rebooting your operating system, and then you can do any of your temporary work, and that's it. So the benefit of the cloud operating system is that you are going to be using and working on temporary services without without needing actually to install as a permanent service. We do have some options if we want to use some permanent services, but for right now, for understanding, let's just understand what actually EC2 instance is. Now for your conveniency, if I'm going to be writing EC2 instance, so basically I can go here and you can see we are going to be having some definition about EC2, right? So Amazon Web Service EC2, which is Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud, one of Amazon Web Services most well-known services, offers a businesses the ability to run applications on the public cloud. An EC2 instance is simply a virtual server in Amazon Web Service terminology. That means it's just a web server. So that means if I'm going to be installing any kind of operating system, so it is going to be working here. So let's try to make kind of, right? So what I can do is I can simply create. So I can go onto the instances. So here actually you can see we have instances here also, we have instances here also, so 0 instances running. So I can go onto the instances, I click on instances, and you can see that there is no instance. Let me just close this one. So actually here you can see I'm having no instance. Of course I hadn't created any kind of virtual operating system. So what I can do is I can simply go here, I can basically create one. So if I go into the launch instance, right, I just clicked on launch an instance and I'm going to be giving it a name. So let's give it a name Linux, because I want to use Linux operating system. And here you can see I'm having Amazon Linux. I can also use Mac OS, I can use Ubuntu, right, I can use Windows. All right, so I can also use Red Hat. So yep. Now the important thing which you need to consider is, like, if I click on Ubuntu, you are having the options here. So make sure to select the image arm to the free tier. If you are going to be selecting any other arm or any other kind of we can say ISO file or operating system, so it is going to be that deducting money from your card. So make sure to take something which is free tier available. So I can go basically with this one, 24 0.4 0.04 LTS HVM or any kind of thing, right? So you can actually go and check for suppose if you need more memory, so you can actually go with that. So I'm going to be selecting, let's select this one, Ubuntu server. Now here we are having something, your security groups will be over one. Okay, so confirm changes, that's fine. So I have basically selected Ubuntu, but you can select Windows. All right, so this is a free tier, you have to select free tier. By the way, if you want to install any other kind of operating system, you can go for the more AMIs, and then basically you can search for Android or Symbian or any kind of operating system which you want to install. What is the architecture I want? I want 64 bit 86, which is going to be ARM, or if I want a normal, so let's take a normal one. Free tier, right? So it's basically free tier. By the way, if you want, you can select for this T2 nano, T2 small. So this is something going to increase the speed of your operating system. But as usual, I'm going to be taking free tier login, so that's totally fine with me. Now I think so we can basically go with this one, default value, not recommended. Let's go with this only. I don't want to create a new pair. So if you are going to be selecting a new key pair, so it's going to be working as a login password, right? So you have to decrypt the file, but personally right now I don't want a password. I can simply go here, create a security group, select existing security group. So that's totally fine. I don't need anything like that. By the way, you have to select allow HTTPS, allow HTTP anywhere. So yep, that is something that's totally fine. Tier 1x8 GP3 free tier eligible customers, that's totally fine. We can go into the advanced details, domain join directory, so that's fine, nothing else. All right, so I think so that's it. By the way, you can play with all these options, but I'm not going to be playing with all these options. That's totally fine. What I can do is now I can basically go and here click on launch instance, right? So once I click on launch instance, it's going to be asking for what is a VPC requirement. So no VPC found, doesn't have, or please create a new VPC. So let's create a new default VPC. So VPC is something which is important, but right now I don't want to go with the VPC, right? So what I can do is I can simply try to select some another. Let's select Amazon AWS. By overridden. So details. So let's remove this. Can we remove from here? No. Let's confirm changes. 64 free tire, default value, launch instance. So again it's asking for this. Let's create a new pair. I think so it's fine if I'm going to create a new pair. Let's go with the Linux PEM file, make create key pair, allow. So alright, so basically I have created a Linux key pair. No VC, this should okay. Please refining the search query, create a new VPC. Right. Think so we remove. Let's create a VPC if it's asking for VPC. Create default VPC. Okay, so this is actually done. Now let's go refresh this. Alright, so this is created. Create new subnet. So select a VPC. We already created a VPC right now. Subnet name, so let's go with the Linux because I'm using Linux everywhere, so let's make this one. So create subnet. So what we can do is let's take this same IP 172.31.0.0. All right, so now let's go with the 24. It's not working. All right, so let's take 20. 172.31.0.0/20 already existing. Alright, so we do need to do some configurations here. I'm not sure, but yeah, this was recently not available, but yeah, the policies may have been changed. If I'm going to take Ubuntu, create new pair, Linux, let me just refresh. Alright, so let's take Linux. Take Ubuntu. I think so now it's done. Allow HTTPS. So launch instance. Yep. Proceed without key pair. I think so now it's fine. Yep, now it's done. Maybe sometimes you need to refresh the page. Oh my gosh. Alright. So now it's done, right? So basically your instance has been completed. What I can do is I can simply go into the instances tab, and you can see here basically the instance is right now pending. The state is pending. I can basically click on refresh, and once it is successful, so we can actually click and then we can connect with our cloud Linux machine. Let's wait, it's still pending. Alright, so it's running, right? So once actually you can see that it's running, what I can do is I can simply click on this instance ID. Now the status is it's running. Here is public IP v4 DNS and public IP v4 addresses. Once if I go and click on connect, and basically it's going to be giving me multiple options how you want to connect with this particular Linux machine. I can go with the SSH client, and I'm already having the you can say the command. So basically I copy the command from here, I open up my terminal, and I can simply paste the particular command. So let's see, it should be, so I'm going to be using yes, and permission denied public key, right? So we have a permission denied public key. So what we can do is we may need to what we can say that we have to create at least a public key. So what I can do is, let's create an instance with a public key. So suppose if I want to have a public key, what I can do is I can simply select this particular instance. I can go into the actions, and or suppose instance state, I can stop the instance, right? I'm going to be stopping the instance. Now here you can see that yes, this particular instance has been stopped. Now what I can do is I can simply terminate this particular instance. That means this instance is going to be deleted. All right, so because we have to create a public key, so let's try to use a public key. All right, now here you can see it's shutting down. We can go and we can create a new instance. So let's give it a new name with the name test, because we are going to be testing. Let's select Ubuntu. Everything is free tier. We have to select a create a new pair. We are going to be taking the name test, the PEM file, create key pair, and it's going to be generating a kind of test.pem file. So I'm going to be copying up in my desktop. Let's go back, and if I go down, allow HTTPS, HTTP, and launch instance. As usual, if you are going to be having some problems, so make sure to refresh your window. Once again, go to the instances. If I'm going to be running, so here you can see now the Linux has been deleted and the test has been assigned here. So now we do have a PEM file, a public key file. So we'll try to use this PEM file to connect with our instance. So here you can see it's terminated, right? So it's deleted. Let's refresh. Right, so it's still pending. So if I go here, now you can see that it's running. By the way, you can refresh again. So it's running. Now I can go on the connect. I can go into the SSH client. Now here you can see that locate your private key file. The key used to launch the instance is test.pem, which is in my desktop. And we have to use this command in order to give permission to our test.pem file. So I can basically go in my terminal. Oops, so let's open up terminal. And what I can do is I can simply go with the ls. I can go in the desktop, and what I'm going to do is chmod 400, which is the command, right? And test dot so yep, we allow pem. If I click enter, so there is no error, and next command is going to be connect with the instance. So I think so now it should work. All right, so yep, we should have a command like this. So yes. All right, so here actually you can see, I think so I can increase the font size of my terminal. I never done this before, right? So yep, I think so that is text. So we can change the font size to 12, 18. I think so 18 is fine. Let's close this. So here actually you can see that right now I am connected with the Ubuntu. If you can see here, I think so you can actually see that yes, I am basically connected with Ubuntu. I think so. Yep, now it's fine. All right, got it. So here actually you can see that basically I am using Ubuntu right now in my Linux terminal. So that is something the power of using the cloud platform. So even though my instance is running here, so suppose if I go into the instances, and here you can see that the test instance is running, and basically I can do any kind of thing in my Ubuntu, because if you know the commands of the Linux, so you can actually create, suppose if I go onto the cd / and do ls, so here you can see that inside my Ubuntu operating system I am having my default files. Now as usual everything is working on the cloud. All right, so this is something the power of the cloud. Now of course you can go for the Windows as well. If I'm not wrong, for the Windows we need a software, but that is something, you know, the case for tomorrow. Let's go for the Windows tomorrow, but yep, you get an idea, right, that how the things are working. Now as usual, if I'm going for the var, I think so there should be var www, or let's go with the var ls. So yep, here basically we are having the var directory of the Ubuntu. Suppose if I go and write any kind of Python code onto this, or any kind of sh bash file, so that is also going to be running. All right, so let's create any kind of file here. So cd home Ubuntu. Yep, so here you can basically go clear, and we can create a file with the name touch file .py and vi file.py, and basically I can write a Python code. So print hello world. All right, so I think so that's it. Now let's go and save this file, and if I go and run with python file.py, so we have to use python 3. So yes, let's go with python 3 file.py. so here you can see hello world. All right, so in actually I am using everything online with my cloud platform, absolutely free. By the way, I can also create my own server. If you remember, we do have work on the Apache, right? So if you remember, so here basically it's asking for the admin. So if you do remember, we were having admin, so we can go with the sudo bash, and here you can see that right now I am having the IP address, this of course my cloud, and basically I am in my root. So what I can do is I can basically go with the command apt install apache 2. Now this is going to be installing the server in my cloud. So basically I can create a home page, and anyone can actually access that thing, because I allowed the https and http while configuring my this particular instance. So if you remember, we clicked on allow https and allow http. All right, so that is something which we can do, but as usual you can do a lot of things in this. So cd var www html. So you can again see that we are having our index.html. We can create a home page, we can create a website, and it is going to be working where? On our instance, on our cloud platform, right? But once if I'm going to close this, suppose if I select this, and if I go onto the actions, if I go and let's go to the instance state, stop. So once if I stop, and let's go back to the terminal, so you can see that connection to this particular instance is closed, right? So the system will power off now. So basically you can see that on this particular time UTC, the instance was being powered off. All right, so basically you get an idea that yes, how the instances actually work. Now another thing which I want to tell is that suppose if I turn it on, let me refresh. So basically instance state. So if I start instance again, and if I go here, of course we are having the same commands. So I'm going to be using the same command to connect with my instance once it turns on. So let's wait. So it's still pending. All right, so it's running now. I can use the command, same command of SSH to connect. So if I hit enter, going to be taking some time. I think so we are in the desktop directory. So yep, let's close this one. Let me just copy this command and let's open a new terminal. So we can go in the desktop, we can paste. It might take some time, right? Or it might not be able to connect because we already had connected with our instance before. So now it is having some pre-default files, caches or cookies. So you need to delete them and then it is going to be working, right? But yeah, you just get an idea. You can connect from anywhere if you're having SSH. So what I can do is I can simply go and I can use up my Linux as well. So I can go into my this directory. I'm having up my Linux. So let's try to connect from my Linux with our instance, right? So that I can show you that it doesn't really matter that if you're using Mac or Linux or even your Android phone, it is still going to be connected via SSH command. So let's wait. We can also check our terminal that it is still not that working. Last login was this time and operation timed out. So what I can do is I can simply go here and I can go to the connect. I can go to the SSH and try to use this particular command again and yep, so now it's working. Maybe the command has been changed. So yep, now we are inside our machine in our Ubuntu operating system with the IP address, this one. But let's try with the Linux also so that you will get an idea that yes, it doesn't really matter if you're using any operating system, you must use Linux. All right, so means terminal is really important. You can also use your Android phone or iOS. You can just install terminal, any kind of terminal, ZSH, ISH terminal from your iPhone or Play Store. And then basically you can use this particular command to connect your instance from any of the terminal. So let's give us some time to this Linux machine because it has recently opened and is working on my hard drive, not in my local system. So what I can do is I can increase the terminal size. So let's go with the sudo bash, of course the admin password and the command. So this was the command, right? So if I hit enter, so of course I want yes. So let's go and write yes. So you can see permission denied, right? So basically the permission has been denied right now from this Linux machine because I'm already having the server being running on this particular Mac operating system, right? So here you can see that this is the IP address. So if I exit from here and if I go here and if I'm going to be using the same command, so again it's going to be working, right? So I think so you got an idea, but the thing is that we are not having the test.pem file also, right? So if we are having the PEM file, so it can actually work. So what I can do is I can try to copy, drag and drop here. So I think so it's not going to be dropping here because it's not here. So all right, so that's here, fine. So let's go to the desktop. Let's go with the permission. So chmod 400 test.pm and now let's try the command. I think so now it should work. So yep, now it's working. Here you can see I'm having Ubuntu in my Linux machine and I'm having Ubuntu in my Mac terminal, right? So basically you get an idea that yes, we can use the cloud platform by using any kind of terminal. So it doesn't really matter. Now once basically I click on exit, so now I log out it from my cloud server, exit, sorry. So basically it's done. Alright, so let's go and shut down this my operating system because I just wanted to show you an example and come back to our main operating system. Now if I'm going back to my instances, and now the problem with this instance is that if I'm going to be clicking here, the IPv4 address or this public IPv4 address will be changing, right? Of course, if I'm going to be rebooting, so this is going to be changed. All right, so for this particular thing, if I want to have a fixed IP address so that it always associates with this particular instance, I can use elastic IP. Now if I search here elastic IP, so here you can see we are having elastic IPs, elastic IP addresses. So basically I'm going to be using this because it is an EC2 feature. So if I go on the elastic IP address, so here you can see there is no elastic IP address. I can simply go and I can click on allocate elastic IP address. US is fine. New tag is totally fine. Now what I can do is I can simply go and click allocate. A new elastic IP address has been assigned, right? So if I'm going to click here onto this IP address, now I'm going to associate this elastic IP address with my instance which I have created, right? So here you can see I'm having instance. Which instance do you want? I want the instance test. So here you can see that is the instance test which we created is shown here. So basically I will select this. I don't want any private IP address. Allocate elastic IP address to be reassociated is totally fine. I will simply click on associate. So once it's done, so now this particular IP address, which is 52.206.87.60, is going to be my permanent public IP address for my instance. All right, so that is something which we can do. Now in cloud platform, we are having tons and tons of things. We can create a database. We can create more virtualizations of servers. We can use VPCs. We are having Lambda functions. We are having some Python functions. So yeah, if I go onto my Amazon AWS, so here you can see I'm having code pipeline, code deploy, IAM, code build, AWS supply chain, CloudWatch, Lambda, billing and cost management. So we are having tons and tons of services which we can use. By the way, I just want to delete up my instances because I don't want that it should be running. Always make sure to delete or shut down your instance. Otherwise, if it is exceeding more than 750 hours, so it's going to be taking money from your card. So I can go here, I can go on, of course, instance, stop instance. I think so we cannot stop because one elastic IP address is also being assigned. All right, so it's stopped. Now I think so we cannot terminate. So if I'm going to click terminate, all right, so it's terminated. That's fine. Let's go to the elastic IPs because I do have one elastic IP and I want it to get deleted. I don't want the money to be deducted from my account. I will select this. I can go onto the actions and I will simply click on release elastic IP address. So here you can see cannot be released with an association IDs. So again, it's basically associated with this particular ID. So let's refresh because I do have terminated my ID. So now here you can see that it will be released. So make sure to delete your instance first, right? So it's basically released. Now here you are not having any elastic IP address. So now everything is totally fine, right? Otherwise it's going to be taking some what we can say money from my card if it is exceeding the free tier version. So yeah, that's it for today, and I think so you get a general idea that how actually the cloud platform works and how interesting these kind of things are. Tomorrow we are going to be checking again, we are going to be practicing again for the Windows operating system with a GUI interface. So today basically you worked on Linux, basically you connected Linux from your main operating system, but tomorrow we are going to be connecting our Windows in a GUI interface, right? We are not going to be using Windows operating system in our Mac, but we are going to be using Windows operating system on cloud. So yep, see you guys tomorrow. If you do have any questions, so make sure to send an email to the education diary, or you can actually comment down as well. Take care. Bye bye.